In the following video tutorial, we are going to cover how to create and the making of a music video, Left2Party, and an environment Flythrough using Source Engine and Left4Dead 2 authoring tools. If you haven't seen the videos, you should see a link pop up, or if you are on World of Level Design blog, you should see both of these videos embedded into the text tutorial. So go ahead and watch these two videos. And if you've already seen the videos, we are going to cover the making of and the how-to of these two videos. So let's begin. First, the software that I used were Fraps, which allowed me to record gameplay. Then I used Adobe Premiere to edit the recorded videos. And I used Left4Dead 2 authoring tools to create the environment where everything takes place. Also, all the assets and props were from Left4Dead 2. There were no custom models or textures. The idea for this music video was that zombies love to party. I wanted this environment to be overrun by the infected. I wanted to have a story of all these infected, all these zombies within the environment having a good time. So once I had the idea, I began to break down the idea into 4 story elements: the introduction, the rising, the party explosion, and the resolution or the cooldown. The first one was the introduction or the setup. This is where you get to see the environment and kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. The second part of the story element is the rising. This is where the music slowly begins to pick up and all the zombies begin to rise, they begin to stand up. The third part is the party explosion. This is where the music really hits into its highest tempo and rhythm, and this is where the entire environment kind of begins to explode and all the infected having just a blast. And the last part of the story was the resolution and the cooldown. Now, the idea and the story wouldn't have been created if I didn't pick out the right music. So the idea, the story, and the music were kind of one and the same because they worked off of each other. So when I heard the song, that's when the idea came to me. And then I began to explore the idea. I listened to the song probably over 100 if not more times, and as I began to listen more and more of it, I began to visualize how this entire environment, how this entire music video is going to come together. So the song and the idea have to match. During the capturing of the video, I started capturing video shots, individual clips using Fraps. Each video clip was captured at 30 frames per second, and you can set that inside the settings when you're using Fraps. The resolution was 1024 by 768. You can increase this resolution to whatever you want, but I wanted to keep it in this range because the file sizes tend to be very large if you're recording larger than this. And in the end, I ended up 153 video files that equaled out to 43 gigs. I spent about 2 days doing all the shots and trying to capture everything that I wanted to capture. And as I was capturing all these shots, I had the song playing in the background on repeat. This helped me to visualize actually inside, as I was recording the video, what the action elements had to be captured and kind of the pacing of each shot and the camera movement that I had to get. So once all the videos were captured, I had to edit them. And I had to import every single video, and since I already planned out the story and I had those 4 elements, I could begin to arrange each shot and organize the entire timeline into the 4 sections of the story. This kind of helped me to keep everything down and work on each section at a time, which helped out a lot with the workflow and just being organized with 153 files of videos trying to keep track of. So first, let's cover the console commands and how to get started. The beginning of the console commands, we need to launch Steam and enable the console for the game. Now, I'll be using Left4Dead 2, but the same idea applies to any Source Engine based game. If you select the game and you right click and go under Properties and go under Set Launch Options, here you're able to type in various commands that will allow you to launch the game with console enabled. Now what I have set up is I have console, I also have LAN switch to 1, and I have width and height of the screen of the game that will be launched set to 1024 and 768. You can change this to whatever resolution you want, but the key command that you want to input is the console. So click OK. Let's close this and go ahead and let's launch Left 4 Dead. So here we are with our game launched, and we have the console come up. So let me close this, and to access to the console you just simply press the tilde key and press it again to turn it on and off, and the tilde key is right above the tab key and to the left of the 1 key. So once we have this, let's launch our map. So I'm going to type in map space and name of the map. In my case it's Raye Street House, and press enter. So here we are inside the map, and to get things going, let's first pull down the console and let's type in sv underscore cheats set to 1. This turns on the cheats and allows us to control the environment and everything that we're going to do for the video. Next, we want to type in sv underscore lan, and we want to set this to 1. Now, I already did this in the properties of the game launch, but if you haven't done so, you want to set this to 1. Next, I want to type in sb underscore stop, and I want to set it to 1. Now, this is an optional command, and what this will do is it will make the bots stop acting or reacting or doing anything. They will just stand right where they are, and you can walk away from them and they will not follow you. And if the infected come up to them, they won't react to it. They won't shoot the infected. So this is an optional command, and you can set this to 1 or 0 depending on what you want. Now this next command is very important to turn on, and it's sb underscore all bot game, and this needs to be set to 1. This is a very important command, and this needs to be turned on. This will allow your game to be run as all bots game. So if you go into the spectator view, it will not kick you into a spectator dead mode and change the post-processing of the map. This will also allow the bots to just play an all bot game without you being the player, and this way you can record action shots of the bots playing. So to give you an example, let's go and let's turn this off, and I'm going to join spectator. So don't worry exactly what I'm typing for joining the spectator. We'll cover this in a bit. So let me join the spectator, and as you can see, it kind of changes the post-processing of how the map and the environment looks, and this is not what I want. So here we are. I reloaded the map, and let's go back into SB all bot game. We set to 1. Next, we need to turn off our HUD. All these elements that we see, the gun display, the health, the names, everything that we see right now, we need to turn off, and we have 2 commands that we need to do this with. So the first one is cl underscore draw HUD, and we want to switch this to 0. So we turned off our right hand side weapon and all the items that we are in control of, but we still have our gun and we still have the names and the health. So to turn everything off, the second command is hide HUD set to 4, and now we have everything turned off. Next, we want to get rid of our weapon, and to do this we need to type in R draw view model set to 0. Now we're successfully turned off all the HUD and we got rid of our weapon, but we're still in character. Now if we want to fly around the environment and go through walls but still be in character, we can type in no clip, and we can go away and fly through anything and inside the environment. As you can see also that the characters will want to follow you, so we can turn this off as SB stop set to 1, and now they'll just stay where they are, and we can just successfully go inside throughout our map and be where we need to be. And if you want to turn off no clip, just press it again. Now I have no clip binded to a key, so I just press that key and I just go into no clip and I press it again and I'm back into the character. So to bind no clip to a key on your keyboard, just type in bind, name of the key, and inside the quotes type in no clip. Now keypad 5, that's the key that I have. You can input any key that you want. So for example, if you want to see if a certain key is binded to something, again just type in bind and type in the key, and I typed in I, so I is not bounded to any command, so you can successfully use that key for any commands that you want to input. Another command you may want to turn on is God set to 1. This will allow you to run throughout your environment and not be harmed by any infected. Next command allows you to take control of any of the survivors. So right now we're playing as Nick, and we can take control of any other survivor by typing sp underscore take control space and any of the characters' names. So let's say Coach. Actually we were Nick, we were Ellis. So now let's type in sp underscore take control, and let's say we want Rochelle. Next, we can give any item to the character that you are in control of. So type in give space, and we can scroll through using the arrow keys up and down and just give ourselves anything we want. Cola bottles. Now we turned off our draw view model and we can't see it, but we can go back and turn this on. Draw view model, and let's set this to 1. So let's turn off our draw view model. Let's set this back down to 0. When you are in no clip mode, you can fly around the environment and capture various shots as you fly through. Now remember, you're still a character, and if there are any infected, they will react to you. We'll talk about how to go into the spectator mode and have no zombies even acknowledge that you're there. This way you can capture close-up shots of the infected, but right now you're in character, and when you're in character you can have infected react to you, and you can record their reaction without having anything being on screen, so it will look like they're reacting to something that's off screen, and with clever editing you can kind of put together various montages of infected just running towards something. Now you will notice as I'm going around, the camera speed is a bit too fast, it's a bit too harsh. Now there are two commands that we need to control in order to get smooth, no clip speed camera movement. First, if you go down to options, keyboard and mouse, you can go to the mouse sensitivity and turn this all the way down. Next, in the console commands, the two commands for no clip mode are SV no clip accelerate speed, which is currently set to 3 and default is 5, and we want to turn this off. And what no clip accelerate does is as I start my movement, it accelerates. It starts off slow, it eases in, and then it speeds up. And for the video that I shot, I had this off for the entire shoot. So I'm going to set this to 0. For the next command, we'll control the smooth movement of the camera to get those panning shots or dolly or tracking shots. So go into the console, type in SV underscore no clip speed. Right now it's set to 5, which is very fast. You want to keep SV no clip speed down to between 0.2 and 0.8. But again, it all depends on the type of video you're shooting. So now if I go left, we can see that it's very slow moving from left to right. And this way I can capture very smooth moving shots. So if I set this to, let's say, 0.1, now I can get a very smooth panning shot going across, or a smooth zoom-in shot going down. If I even get it down to, let's say, 0.02, it's a very slow panning shot that I can get some really cool effects and kind of cinematic angles, kind of panning away. So these two commands, SV no clip accelerate and no clip speed are the two commands that are primarily used when I was in character and using no clip mode. And this allowed me to control smooth camera movements. Now, for the no clip speed, I changed this down a lot. This was one of those commands that I changed a lot. So I would change it to one shot, then I would go back and I would change it to a slow moving shot. And I changed this around a lot, going back to the console and just back and forth trying to find my key values to capture smooth moving shots. Now let's cover how to go into the spectator mode. Right now I am a no clip mode and I am still a character. So let's go off and turn off our no clip. So if I place an infected, it's going to react to me. And for me to be a spectator and to capture some shots that will allow me to get up close and personal to some of the infected, as well as to watch a bot gameplay, I need to be a spectator. To join a spectator, just type in join team spectator. So now I am inside a spectator game mode. Now there are a few commands that we need to turn on and off when you are in the spectator mode. So the first one is we want to turn off the highlights. You can see that we see Alice off in the distance and we get to see the highlight of the character. So let's go in and let's type in spec underscore keep underscore team glows, and we want to set this to 0. Now we don't see the outline of Alice anymore or any other character. The two other important commands have to do with the camera movement. Those commands that we input for no clip do not apply when you're in spectator, so you have to reset them, and there are two different commands to control. The first one is sv underscore spec accelerate, and this is the acceleration speed of the camera, how fast it picks up and slows down, and I set this to 0. The next command is the command you'll probably control most of the time, changing the values up and down to control smooth movement speed. This is sv underscore spec speed. The default is 3, so let's turn on 3, and we can see that it's super quick. It's too frantic, and it's not what we need. We need to change this to a lower value. I keep this down to 0.1 and 0.8, somewhere around there. Let's change this down to, let's say, 0.1, and we got a slower moving speed, slower moving shot. And this is how you would capture slow, smooth moving angles and panning shots. Now if you're a spectator and you want to go back to being a survivor, just type in join team survivor, and you're back at being survivor. Let's go back into join team spectator, and let's place an infected, and at this point we can see that he is attacking Alice. Nothing's happening because I turned the God mode set to 1, but being a spectator allows me to get some shots, some panning shots, some close-up shots of the infected attacking the survivors and reacting to them. And if I go back to join team survivor, I can get some interesting shots of the infected running towards something or towards the survivor and capture those videos. Being a survivor, we can still see the glow of other survivors. We could turn this off by going under CL underscore glow underscore brightness, and we can set this to 1, which is on, and we can turn this off. Next, let's talk about how to spawn infected. Spawning infected is very simple. So let's go out here and go in the console, and let's type in z underscore spawn common, and we get to place a common infected. Now he's going to react to us. Let's go into the spectator mode, join team spectator, and let's cover another command where we can delete all the survivors and all the infected from our map by going under NB_delete all. This will delete all the survivors and all the infected. So now we can begin placing infected. So first let me turn up this camera movement speed. Turn this to 3. So z_spawn common will place a regular common infected. If we type in z_spawn input space and then type in, let's say, hunter, we can place a hunter in here, and we can place a witch the same way, a tank, a boomer. So let's go back up and let's place a witch right where we saw it in the video. So I'm gonna type in z_spawn witch, and we get to place the witch. She doesn't react to us and she gets to sit where she sits. We can go back up to our speed and get a couple of shots here. That's how I got the shots of her sitting crying on top of the roof. We can place the tank. And if we need to kick any of the infected, just simply type in kick tank, and let's kick hunter, and we'll get rid of the hunter or any other infected that you type in. Very useful command for giving you some control over the common infected inside your map is z_must_wonder. So z_must_wonder. What this does, it will tell the infected to do a few things. -1 will tell them to always sit down and lie down. 0 will be the default, which will cycle between them getting up and walking around, wandering around, and sitting down and lying down. And 1 will always tell them that they need to wander around and never sit down. So let's set this to -1, and let's place a couple of them, and you get to see that they're sitting down. They're just going to sit down and never get up. This goes for all the infected who are currently standing up. Eventually they will sit down and they will not get up. Now we can turn this off by going 0, and this will cycle. And we can turn this to 1, which will make all the infected stand up. And we can turn this off, make them sit down. Now I have this binded to a key, and this is how I got some of the shots where all the infected stand up all at once. So I went ahead and I began placing them, then I pushed the key and made them all get up at once. Before we do that, there's another important command that I want to, and it's z_common limit. This sets the limit to the amount of common infected that you can see on screen. During the shooting of the video, I set this high to about 800. You want to be careful, because if you place too many, it will slow down the game. But this allows you to place a lot of infected inside your map. I also have z_spawn common binded to a key. Now I can be inside the map and just click and just begin placing them. And since I have z_must_wonder set to -1, they'll just sit down. And then if I need them to get up, I just get a camera angle, and then I have a key bind it to make them get up and make them all get up all at once. And this allowed me to get some really dynamic, interesting, cool shots on the big epic shot on top of the roof, as long as many infected standing up when I needed them to. And so here all the infected will begin to walk around, and they'll just go through their cycle of whatever the AI has been programmed for them to do. The key of this entire project was the initial idea, the vision, and the tempo and rhythm used in the song. Because I had the idea, the music, and the story all working together, I was able to go through the entire process without much of second guessing or trying to figure out how everything was going to come together, because I kept true to the original vision at the core of the initial idea. I didn't stray away from the idea, which helped me to narrow the focus of the project during recording and editing, because I knew exactly what I wanted to capture and what the final video would look like. So I hope this making of helped you out and gave you ideas of how the workflow works and what exactly to do to capture your own video clips and create an awesome trailer using Source Engine.